Hello and welcome. Today I am talking about spirit. So this is the fourth episode in my Mind, Body, Spirit series, and I wrote some notes and Spirit said that I'm going to channel for you. So I started channeling I think it was in 2009. I wrote a page a morning, and channeled an energy that I knew to be Merlin. I've been fascinated with Merlin ever since I was young. I read all the books I could on him, written by Mary and Zimmer Bradley, and loved them and kept them forever and ever and ever. And so he said that he'd like to talk to you. So he said that the force of the earth is within you, and so we're meant to be connected with this planet, and a lot of people, especially the ones in the city, are not. So he attributes it to being disconnected because there's a platform of concrete between the earth, the earth force energy, and people. And today when I got ready I set up my camera and everything, and I heard to take off my shoes. So I like to do that a lot of times if I feel like I really need to connect with the planet, and it's like Mother Earth's body and my body connect, and there's no barrier between them. So Merlin is saying that and the Ascended Masters, so I share Ascended Masters with the gentleman who taught me hypnotherapy. We have 13 Ascended Masters who work with us, and they provide us with our life vision. So Merlin told me today, just now, mosquitoes, oh yeah, I moved into my pasture because it was so noisy in my other videos with the road backs onto my property over there. So I moved over into my pasture, and yeah, I asked the energy of my horse to join me if he wants, because he's just wandering around now. So Merlin said that we all have a life vision, and we are to connect with our life vision through meditation. And he said actually meditation outside is the best, because you will get channeled messages from this planet, and also the source has an easier time connecting with you outside of a building or outside of a structure. This is interesting. He said especially those buildings that have lightning rods, because it actually eliminates or doesn't allow the energy to flow freely, because it's like, no, it stops here. So did not know that before. Often when I channel, I get new information that I never knew before. And so today, that was interesting, because I was thinking if I lived in an area where it was really stormy, I'd put a lightning rod on my house, and it's like, no. And this is what he wants you to know. And the other Ascended Masters, like I can see they're standing in a semicircle behind me. And if you watched my first video on Mind, Body, and Spirit, you will have seen like flashes of light as I was videoing that episode, and I saw it as I was taping. And not that we tape anymore, it's like making digital video. While I was videoing it, I saw those flashes of light, right? It happened several times. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I forgot to mention it. That's spirit showing that they're present, and it was like, boom, we're here. So one of my viewers noticed it and told me. I was like, yeah. So that's them letting you know that their presence is there, and they can be visible if you want. So if you want to, this is their message to you. So this property backs onto just a minor road, so you'll see some traffic there. So it's just quieter, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be peaceful. And as I was setting up, there was an airplane going overhead and tons of traffic on the road, and I just thought, oh, whatever. But it's nicer now. I feel that the background won't be as loud as it was before. So if you want to really connect with your spirit and your soul and your guides and your Ascended Masters, and they told me everybody has at least one Ascended Master. If you don't know what Ascended Master is, it is someone who has been a human and mastered being a human. Then they don't have to come back. So that's what they talk about, being ascended. Being ascended means you don't have to come back, but you can choose to if you want. Now, being enlightened is different. It means you're literally filled with light and knowledge that's at the, right in your head. You don't even have to open a book anymore. And that's what happens when you connect with the reality of the energy that's here, that's present, the force, and there's so many movies about the force, Star Wars and all that, and people really believe in miracles. They've seen them happen. Many people have seen or felt the presence of angels. A lot of people watching this have had a loved one pass, and after the loved one passed, they felt the presence of their loved one. In 2013, my dog died. He was really sick, and we made the decision to put him down, and he died in my arms, which is a request many pets have for their owners. If they are going to be put to sleep, they want to go in their owner's arms, because they just want to feel that love and that comfort as they're going into the next world. They don't have a problem going into the next world. They said often humans have such emotional attachments to people, pets, places, things, and the pets want them to realize that it's a ritual. It's part of life. Death is part of life. So I often channel the messages from pets for the owners, and the pet says how they would like to go, if they would like to go, how they feel about their health and that. So we are here on this planet to do something. And you as a human, you are never alone. You always have energy of angels, guides, spirit guides, ascended masters. They're making fun. They said the big kahuna. Like, and if you've ever felt the presence of God, it's such a tremendous, enormous energy. You can feel that, and it feels miraculous. Often, if you go to church, organized religion, and that's part of your life, and that's very important to you, that you will feel the presence of God in God's house. And that's why I love weddings in churches, because I just really feel that that building is special and blessed, and the people in it honor their oaths that they take, and that when that ritual is performed in the eyes of God, in the house of God, it just feels special. It vibrates high, and that's my feeling. That's not always feelings for everyone, but we all have opinions, right? So, but I'm saying in some churches, some organizations, you'll really feel the presence of God, and you can feel it in your heart, and it just feels like, I always like to say, ah. So the Ascended Master said, back to them. So they made like a joke. These guys they're ancient souls, and they have a wicked sense of humor. Often I've had to deliver messages from them, and they're not always, they poke fun at everyone. And so I used to feel uncomfortable saying the things they wanted me to say, but now I'm okay with it. I guess I've created a hardened shell. So they want you to know that your presence on this planet is very important, and there's several reasons. They're saying 3 reasons. One is you are a source of light to dark souls. So there's like light souls and dark souls, and light souls are the ones that have done the work to have an illumination within them. And tingles of awareness. And they said, and Spirit said, there's it's like a whole ball of like big white energy, said children and pets recognize that light, and they see it, and they go to the light because they know that person is a good, wholesome person, and that they can trust them because they've done the work on cleaning their energy inside. So then there's dark souls, and dark souls, often they're not aware that they're dark souls. They just know there's something wrong, and they don't feel pure, and they don't feel they're good enough for people, and they might just feel dirty, and they don't know why. So I do work with people, energy healing, and that's specifically Reiki. I do also other forms of healing that have been downloaded to me. It's like a gift from Spirit, I feel, for being on the right path. So then, if you have energy work done to you because you feel like you're tainted and something happened to you, either in this life or a different life, you'll feel some unease, and you'll certainly feel unease around people like me, because if you're a dark soul, I can see your vulnerability, and I can also see what it is you need to work on. But I don't, I'm not going to offer for people who wear clothes. They're like, no. So what do you do then if you feel like there's something that's not quite right about yourself? Well, my number one recommendation is for you to meditate. And they're like all nodding their heads. But they're also saying, come to terms with what your dark side is and face it and say, I have an issue, and I want to not fix it. I want to heal it, because when we heal it, we release it. And we all have dark parts of our soul. Most of us have had many lives where we've been not a very good person, and then the next life we had a life that is the exact opposite of what we did in the last life. So if we were, like, say in the medieval times, we killed a lot of people, right? They were like executioners, things like that. If you had a life like that and that was your job, or you had to, kill a lot of people, you're like a marksman or a soldier or something like that, you'll come back in the next life and you'll receive energy like that. So, and that explains what karma is. So they're saying on with the show. Then the second thing they say is there are regulations as to how you are to behave, and they say you can feel it in your heart. So if you're doing something that you feel is wrong in your heart space, like you can feel it as you do it, they're like, please stop. Stop and take note that this, if it feels wrong, it is wrong for your soul. It is wrong for you, because you came here to, they say, heal the collateral damage that you caused in other lives. And they say even if you have a current life that's like, it's called a parallel life, where you're in this body and then you're in another one at the same time. And some people have many, and some people have like one, and some people have none. So if you're in a parallel life and you're doing something that is not cohesive with your nature, they're saying, please stop, because that is not who you are. That is not why you came onto this planet to be. And they say that from the moment you're born, you start to die. And I said this often. I used to say that to my students in high school. But they're saying that, note that it's up to you to take care of your body, right? They said they like how I talked to you about taking care of your body. And they also say to take care of your mind, and you can do that through your diet. And I mentioned that with that book, Genius Foods, that helps you take care of your brain health. But they're saying to be mentally healthy and mentally competent, you have to do some work to keep your brain clean. So why would your brain not be clean? It may not be clean because of toxins and pesticides, heavy metals, and things like that. So that's physical. It may not be clean because you're hanging around the wrong people. They said, consorting with the devil. They're making a joke, okay? It's like they have funny sense of humor. But what they're saying is, if you're with a group of people and you don't feel good about yourself when you're with them, you're not meant to be there. And they asked me to tell you about how I felt about teaching in the end. I kept trying to go back to teaching after I had my son, and it never worked out. And the realization came finally when someone asked me what else I do, and I told some people, and I got rejected because of it, and people started to act like in schools started to act like I was invisible, and that they didn't want to talk to me. I do understand that's fear, but before they knew that about me, they really loved me and they thought I was it. But after, they really thought I was it in a bad way. So I went home one day after that had happened, and it had happened with someone that I really, really liked, honored, and respected. And when that happened, that was a turning point in my life, because I realized that group didn't support my vision of helping people in this world, because a lot of people who do the work like me, they come from the source. They have very good intentions. They do a lot of work on themselves to remain pure and whole and clean, and they present themselves in a healthy way. And yes, some of the things I talk about are out there, like, I'll admit it. Who would even think, like, hey, I'm channeling information from these ascended masters who you can't see, but I know they're there because I see them in my third eye. So that was a turning point. And they're saying to me, that's part of enlightenment, is understanding that you don't belong everywhere, but you go where your heart feels it's meant to go. And so when I started reflecting on my life and how the people that I've offered healing courses to, or the people that I've done healings for, or the people I've provided readings for, whether it's through tarot or oracle cards, or just channel messages, like through text messaging, Facebook Messenger, over the phone, in person, they really benefited from the answers they received from Spirit. And I honored that path so much that I chose to do that instead. And I do love teaching, so now I can teach courses and that without any evaluation, which kind of bothered me too, because sometimes how can you put a number on something that's part of the evaluation system, and I understand it's necessary to place students, but it didn't match me anymore, and that's why any job that I applied for, I would get an interview, but they wouldn't even want to hire me because it wasn't an energetic match anymore. So they're saying being enlightened is realizing that you don't belong everywhere, and that's okay. And they're saying too that you are meant to be okay with who you are and what your soul is like. And they said part of the development of being a good human being is realizing because they were like, we're done. Humans are all a work in progress. And they also added that animals are pretty much perfection in terms of they really know why they're here. They're here to love. And even in the face of abuse or mistreatment, they still have it in their heart to love. And I feel like I'm going to cry because I've found that in many of my pet readings, how grateful dogs and cats and horses that have been rescued, how much they love their owners. And while they have these behaviors that puzzle the owners, they can't understand why they're like that, the dog, cat, or horse will explain, this is what used to happen to me. So when I see you with this, I think you're going to do the same thing, because I feel like I might not be able to trust you because I trusted that other person and they hurt me and it caused me not, they're saying, the Ascended Masters are saying, the animals have said, it's not the physical pain, but it's the pain in their heart. And I feel like I'm going to cry. I'm so sorry. But I feel that with the energy. Like the energy just has to change. They call me crybaby, but I do. I get emotional for things like that because I do know how beautiful the energy of animals are because I work with them so much. And they said, tell him about your horse. So my horse has had a lot of issues since I bought him, and I didn't understand. And it was only a couple years ago that he started showing me pictures in my mind, from his mind to mine. That's how animals communicate, telepathic. And I do a lot of work to keep my vibration high so that it's like I sharpen my telepathic abilities. So when I work with pets, the connection is like that, okay? So, but my horse didn't show me that, and he was like a herd curmudgeon. And it wasn't until a couple years ago he showed me, and last year we made huge breakthroughs. He showed me what had happened in other lives, and animals see their lives as like continuous. And many of the lives where he had been abused, I was the abuser. So I had lives where I was a terrible person, and I treated him terribly. I used him for science experiments. I used to be a bronc rider. He was a bronc. He was called the Black Devil. And I used to get on him. And when I was in you're in the chute, and I had spurs on, and I had like really mean spurs, and I would spike them in alcohol. This is bad. I'm just getting this message now. And I used to spur that horse before I got out of the gate. And holy man, I have that tingle of awareness. So when he got out of the gate, oh man, he was mad, and he bucked hard, and I could stay on him because we had an understanding. He knew if I got to stay on, I'd get like lots of money, and then he could have a rest. It was almost like I owned him. But guess what? When I got him in this life, and I went to get on him from a higher, I use a mounting block. He's like, nope, nope, nope. He just wouldn't let me get on, and I always got on him on the left side. And you know, I was mean. I just jumped on him, sparred his. I jarred his spine, so he always had that. So now when I get on him, if I get him on him on the left side, he just wants to run. But if I get on him on the right side, he's okay with it. So I get on him on the right side, like it's fine. And even if I don't use my stirrups when I get on him, then he's fine too. He just knew that because he has some mindset that is so strong. And why does he read that on me? Because I'm the same person energetically, but I've done some cleaning up, and I've been working on figuring him out, because some people say, oh, horse, they all have quirks, and they absolutely do. But you know what? The horse that gives you the hardest time, they won't give anyone else the hardest time, because their problem is with your energy. Now, I have a dear friend. She had the same problem with her horse. It was just like, wow. And we actually had a conversation today on the phone, and the horse was talking through me, and he was telling her what happened and why he treated her the way he did and why he always like broke down, like faked a limp and all this. But you know, he was processing those lives that he had with her, that where she wasn't that kind to him, but she's not that person, right? But because we have chosen to work through that karma of treating that animal, that energy in a different life, and it comes to us, it's up to us to figure it out. So animals vibrate very high. We tend to vibrate lower because we have this thing called the ego. And we think, right? We think, and we make play all these games in our mind, and this person doesn't like me because, and usually if people say that to me, I say, oh, that's past life thing. Like, you knew them in a different life and you're really competitive with them. Then when they see you, they recognize your energy and they just have this immediate dislike for you because in that life they did. So that'll teach you something about that. So you meet someone, you don't even know this person, and they're giving you like a mean look or whatever, they treat you terribly. You just ask your mind, ask your subconscious mind to show you, what is this about? And then, hopefully, if you're a meditator or you just have a really quick mind, drop that conscious mind down to the subconscious, your mind will show you a scene, or you'll sense a scene, or you'll feel a scene where you were with that person and whatever you did. And then you just, the next time you see that person, you just smile at him and just, it's gone. Because you have seen where it came from and you have released it, because you don't need to give in to that energy anymore. And I feel like we could like everyone on this planet, no matter what or who they are. And if we can't like them, then we can understand them and accept them. I don't say tolerate, because tolerate means, well, you're okay, but I still don't accept you. But acceptance means that you're okay with who they are because they've chosen to be that person. So the Ascended Masters are saying, just be aware of the person that you strive to be and be that person. And they're saying, all these people you follow on social media and everything, they're putting up a facade that their life is so wonderful, but they have as many problems as you do. They're like, just ask me. I mean, I've had a life that's been not so easy, but also I have had portions of my life that have been incredibly easy. And when my life is going rough, I always think there's someone out there that has it worse than me. So I wanted to talk to you about the who, what, when, where, and why of spirit, but they told me I was to channel messages from them. They said that's all for now, and they want me to finish up with those, but they said they'll come in intermittently. And this is what the third thing I feel they want me to talk about is signs. So if you are suffering from a lack of faith or whatever, ask your angels or your guides for signs. And yesterday, I hadn't been seeing signs for a while, and something weird was going on with me, glitchy. So I did my due diligence and I looked inside and I did some karma release to figure out why these things were going on, and it was starting to stress me out and I couldn't see. It was like I was in a holding space. I couldn't see what was going on, and they said to me, you're not supposed to. We wanted to see how you would handle stress. So I did a lot of work on myself, and I did reflection, and I limited the time I went on social media, because when you go on social media or anything like that, you watch a TV show, you listen to the radio, you're sharing energy with that person. And if that person's not coming from a place of love and kindness, you can absorb some of that energy if you're not aware. Okay, I'm not saying that it happens all the time or whatever, but it's just like, if you're like one of those persons, like, I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, I don't want to know, like, just no, don't tell me. Things are going to happen, and then you have to take a step back and realize, what is this about? Why is this affecting me this way? What can I do to achieve a life of balance again that I had before all this stuff happened? So I wanted to talk about, why is spirit important? Well, spirit is like the component that helps you feel fulfilled, helps you feel like you're here with a reason. So however you decide to develop or maintain that spiritual aspect of your life, it's important. Some people like to go outside and walk in nature, and then they feel like, oh, grateful. That's why I love doing my videos outside, because I'm an outdoor person and I love it. And when I do them inside, they just don't have that beautiful, the birds chirping, and I don't have that noisy bird in this video today, because in the last three, there's that bird that was like singing, whatever. These ones are just like not so loud. Maybe they are in my yard because of my cats. I have one cat that I had to do a little energy work on him because he kept killing birds, and I said, hey, you're here to eliminate the mice population, and birds are good. We like birds. I haven't seen any dead birds around lately, so hopefully he's given up his appetite for that. So how do you connect with spirit? Like I said, you can, if you like to go to church, that's a great way to connect. If you like to go to nature, you can connect that way. If you're a nature person, you could decide that you want to spend a portion each day meditating, and you designate a certain time of day for that, and it's like a ritual. You can also do some really cool coloring, and you take a mandala. So there's mandala coloring books. And so when I taught this mindful course at one school, just did for a day, it was cool though. It was like, that's my jam. You start on the mandala, and you start in the center, and you start, and you play some nice music, and then you might get some guided, you might get some guides that join in, you might get some information downloaded to you. So, and I also heard that automatic writing is really good. So you meditate for between 5 to 15 minutes, and you write down at the top of the page, what shall be my focus today? And then you just write. It's a stream of consciousness. You just get it's like you write with a pen. If you're a fast typer, you can do it just as well as a computer, but spirits, they like the pen because everybody's forgetting how to cursive write these days. It's true. So when do you do it? Well, you choose a time of the day where you have the time, where it's nice and quiet, where nobody's going to bother you. And for me, the morning is really good because my kid likes to sleep, and I just have that nice time when the sun comes up, and it's nice and calm. It's just really nice energy. So who can you connect with? Well, you can connect with your angels. You can connect with your guides, your ascended master or masters. You can connect with any of your ancestors who have crossed over. Yesterday morning, I started coughing, and that's always an indicator that someone wants to talk, but this time it was for me. And it was my grandfather on my dad's side, and he gave me a message, and he apologized for the things that he had done earlier on in his life that had caused a lot of trauma in my father's family and then passed on to mine. So that was really beautiful. I liked it. And then my dad came in too, because my dad, he passed away when I was about 10. So they both came in to tell me information, and I thanked them. And that happened in a meditation, Conscious mind is down nice and low, and it's like you have a funnel, right? You're like, yeah. So that's a great way to connect. So where should you connect? Where should you connect to spirit? You can do it. You can have a favorite place. My favorite place, I have two favorite places. Well, three. I like to go outside, but I can sit on my front step and have my bare feet on the ground. Oh, it's so beautiful. My chair in my office, I bought it for my hypnotherapy clients, but it's such a nice chair. It just feels so good. It feels like a hug. It's a little high for me, like my feet don't always touch the floor, so I just put something underneath my feet so my feet are nice flat on the ground. And then I have a chair in my living room that I like to sit in to connect as well. So how often should you do it? I think it's a great idea to meditate every day, or slow your mind down. You don't have to meditate. You can just sit quietly, and you could just look out the window. I do that sometimes, and I watch the birds, and I just think, oh, this feels really good, and it slows everything down, and then I can go back and do whatever it is I'm supposed to do. So there are different methods of connecting with spirit, and you have to decide what's best for you. And how do you feel? You feel it's right. It feels good. It feels right in your heart. And so if you've had a certain way of connecting with spirit and it doesn't work for you anymore, then change. Guided meditations are wonderful. There are angel meditations. Meet your angels, meet your higher self, meet your guides. Like, there's such good things. But I often say this for meditations: if you're going to listen to a guided one, make sure you like the sound of that person's voice and that you like the music. And this is from Spirit. They said the pineal toning is really good on YouTube, but they said just be aware that there might be some subliminal messages in there, and I've never heard that before. So that's today, and this isn't like what is that, the conspiracy theory? This I had listened. I had bought some special meditations. Oh gosh, 15 years ago, and you can hear the music, and then there's subliminal messages underneath. And you listen to it with headphones, and it was weird because I found that after I listened to them, I got like really angry, and it was really weird. So I stopped listening to them, and I I calmed my soul down. I see now though that it was just something pressuring me to deal with the anger that I was feeling, but that wasn't a good time for me to do it because I had to go through whatever growth I had to do to realize that I had some subterfuge, some anger hidden inside of me that was really, that's like deep in my heart and my soul, maybe about how I've allowed myself to be treated in certain situations, not only in this life, but in past lives, which I hear had been a reoccurring theme. So it's up to you to decide how you want to connect to spirit. But if you have been missing something in your life, chances are it's that you have neglected that spiritual component of your life, and that in order to find a way to regain it, if you had it before and you don't know what happened, or find a way to discover it, you have to try different methods and see which way you think would be the best for you to connect to whoever it is you want to connect to. And lots of times people get scared. They're like, oh my God, I have voices in my head. And I say, well, what kind of voices are they? Are they good, kind ones? Are they encouraging you? Stick with it, don't give up? Or are they messages that are not healthy? Because, sometimes people can get confused. Sometimes you can hear other people's thoughts. So my son often asks me for clarification on, I'm hearing this or whatever. So I do talk to him about it. But just know, if you vibrate high and you raise your vibration, the lower vibrations will fall away from you. And if you do see, sense, or feel them, I dropped my remote on the ground. You see, sense, or feel them, it's just an awareness that yes, that is present and that it's shown itself to you, and what are you going to do about it to detach from it so it's not a part of your lifestyle. Because when you work really hard, oh, that's my grandfather, my grandpa on my dad's side, who's coming through. I get it. It's dry here. And so he said to me, good job, Karen. And he said, he was proud that I put a ghost buster session on my Facebook business page yesterday, because I had people message me and ask me if I could do it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it, check in with you or whatever, and go, and I helped remove these energies that were stuck. They were bad, but people could just feel them there. So he said, good, thanks, Karen. So that's awesome. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you continue watching. You can subscribe to this channel. You just follow. I'll just post them on Facebook as well every time I make one of these videos. So I have to duck down and get my remote. Thank you.